I didn't think I'd need to make this video. I really didn't. I thought this game was just going to be another big dub for the Boston Bruins. The Montreal Canadiens would lose for maybe the 11th time in a row against this team, and we would go about our business because there wouldn't be anything noteworthy to talk about, therefore nothing to really make a video about. Especially since it's an Eastern game, it's like 10-something p.m. in Montreal as I'm recording this audio. I was like, there's no reason we're gonna have to make a video about this. But there is. Because last time, on Thursday, I did not make a video about the Maple Leafs, not the Maple Leafs, the Canadiens. I'm still traumatized by Toronto from the game earlier today, my goodness. But on Thursday, I didn't make a video about the Canadiens beating the Red Wings in overtime because I had ball hockey later that afternoon, and it was either make a video about that game or make a video about the Canucks and the Sens. And of course, Vancouver is like my bread and butter, so we chose that one. I did not want to make a video after ball hockey because it would have been like past 2 a.m. in Montreal by the time I got home, so it wasn't really something I thought was worth it. However, this game, Montreal versus Boston, this was one with a story to tell. Because for the past 10 meetings, for the past 4 years, the Boston Bruins have had the better of the Montreal Canadiens each and every time. So, to see the Montreal Canadiens, in fact, to see this version of the Montreal Canadiens go up against this version of the Boston Bruins, where the Habs are struggling, doing okay, they're getting carried by good goaltending, whatever, and the Bruins are just great this year. To see the Habs go out there and literally beat Boston in overtime 3-2, ooh, baby, that's the icing on the cake for tonight, isn't it? Okay, maybe not for tonight, there are still a few hours to go, I might watch a movie or something, but either way, the Montreal Canadiens defeat the Boston Bruins 3-2 in a game where they showed off so much effort, so much determination, and an unwavering desire to come out on top that you can't help but sit back, watch the highlights, and just be proud of the gosh darn Montreal Canadiens in this game. Everything starts out with Pavel Zacha. He gets on the board first in the first period, 36 seconds in, actually. It's a pretty interesting play as the Bruins break in and immediately put on the pressure. It gets back fed over to the point. There's a long shot, and it's tipped in by Zacha. This is one of those moments where within the first minute, you're like, okay, here's what's coming to us. The Montreal Canadiens are going to get smoked because the Bruins are so good, and Montreal just gave up a goal in 30 seconds. Yeah, there's no way they're coming back and winning this, right? But then you realize that the Canadiens hung on for most of this first period afterwards. The shots on goal 6-6 in the first. It is only a 1-goal game. By the end of the first 20 minutes, there were chances either way, but for the most part, the Canadiens stood tall. There were some good chances by Gallagher, there was the Monahan chance in front, so the Canadiens did have some offense, and they were defending pretty alright. The second period, same thing. Shots on goal in the second, 11-7 for Montreal, but there are no goals scored in this second period. The Canadiens had a bunch of power plays. Brandon Carlo, Zacha, Pastrnak all went to the box, but nothing went in. But then in the third period, this is where Montreal came to play. Because, still on the power play, opening up this third period, all it takes is 24 seconds for Nick Suzuki to score and tie things up at 1. It's a beautiful long shot from the point. It gets by everybody, and Captain Nick, with not even a smirk on his face, just kind of hugs his guys, and he's like, yeah, let's go. This is our game. We're going. And to make things even more exciting in the Bell Center, just 30 seconds after Nick Suzuki tied at 1-1, it's Brendan Gallagher who makes it 2-1. This is the revival, the resurgence of Gally. Everybody was talking about the decline. I was on that bandwagon too, saying, yeah, there's no way his playstyle is going to continue into his early to mid-late 30s. But Brendan Gallagher, absolute warrior, still going into the dirty areas, still finding himself in the right spots to tip pucks in and bat in rebounds. This is a pure Brendan Gallagher goal, as it's Kaiden Guhle who takes the long shot. The rebound pops out to the side, and Gally dives for the puck, chopping at it, putting it into the open cage, and giving the Canadiens the 2-1 lead. Montreal is up 2-1 in the first 41 minutes of game time. Samuel Montembeault has stopped all the pucks except for the first one that was on goal, and the Habs have the lead. Okay. The Bruins get themselves a power play about 10 minutes later, and this is where Brad Marchand ties everything up. It's a good deflection. Of course, the Boston Bruins, they had their opportunities. They were bound to get one. Eventually, the puck goes to the goal, and Marchand is at the goal mouth to deflect it in. Assisted by Pastrnak and McAvoy, this is a pretty good trio of players, so yeah, them scoring, not really all too surprising. But the rest of the third period is completely goal-free. We have some chances that are traded either way. The Bruins, before the Marchand goal, they were really pressing, just amping it up with more and more opportunities, but Montembeault was making these saves. And then in the overtime, you had yourselves the ultimate hero. It is Kaiden Guhle who gets things going and who wins the game for the Montreal Canadiens. This is a beautiful play by Josh Anderson driving into the middle. He has been snake-bitten all season, but he makes the play to put the puck in a dangerous space. Brad Marchand tries to clear the rebound, and Kaiden Guhle is right there to take it and put it into the open net. Montreal wins 2 straight overtime games. Cole Caulfield against Detroit on Thursday, Kaiden Guhle against Boston on Saturday. And Guhle becomes the second youngest Canadiens defenseman of all time to score an overtime goal. Take a look at this tweet made by StatCenter. Here are the youngest Habs defensemen to score an overtime goal, including the playoffs. Larry Robinson, in Game 2 of Montreal's 1973 quarterfinal series versus the Flyers, was 21 years old and 319 days when he scored an overtime to win that game. Kaiden Guhle today, 21 years old and 297 days old in terms of his age versus the Bruins. And then PK Subban in 2011 versus Calgary was 21 and 249 days old when he got his overtime goal. So there you go, Kaiden Guhle legitimately making history for the Montreal Canadiens, becoming the first Canadiens defenseman in 10 years to be this young and scoring an overtime goal. This puts the Canadiens back in the dub column against Boston for the first time in 11 tries, and it's the first time in 4 years that they've defeated the Bruins. So that's awesome, right? But ultimately, what this win indicates for Montreal is a team that can. A team that has the ability to battle back, to force their hand and say, hey, we don't care if you are one of the top players, or not the top players, one of the top teams in the NHL, that you've been so dominant this entire season, because we can go out there and we can still beat you. This is only the 3rd loss of the season for the Boston Bruins, and it comes at the hands of Montreal. So there you go. Good night to the Montreal Canadiens. Samuel Montembeault has himself an absolute game here tonight. I mean, the guy posted up 26 saves on 28 shots against, so a .929 save percentage. Meanwhile, on the other side, you had Jeremy Swayman making 24 saves on 27 shots, so an .889 for him. His save percentage going down at this game, baby. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Either way, all your opinions about the Canadiens beating the Bruins for the first time in 4 years. Kaiden Guhle is cementing himself in history as not just one of the better defensemen on this team, but also a guy who can score overtime goals and be clutch. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.